Tell us a little bit about Bee Caves Drilling. You guys have been in business since 1980, 45 years this year.
That's right. We're excited to celebrate our 45th year. It's a family-run business where we install and service private water systems.
Primarily based in the Hill Country, Dripping Springs, Burnett. You go a little further, too.
We have 2 locations, Dripping Springs and Burnett, but we service all of the Hill Country from the north side of San Antonio all the way up to Waco, all the way out to Junction, all the way east to Taylor.
In 45 years, you've probably brought water to many homes and businesses.
Absolutely. We service thousands of homes, businesses, even subdivisions, and some small municipal work.
Let me ask you this on a quick note. A lot of people are looking to buy land, as an investment property and things like that. And I was thinking, I bet they don't go to you first. They find that dream spot and then they go to you, but you have valuable information on how to pick land.
It's amazing to me the number of people that call me after they've signed for the property, and then they ask about water. And that is such a missed opportunity. If they would contact us before they sign for that property, we could tell them whether or not there's fresh water available, how abundant is that, how long will it last during the next drought, what are the regulations that are involved, what are the costs associated with putting in a water system. All those things would be critical to know before you buy any piece of property that you might want to use groundwater.
Because you may have to go deeper to get that groundwater. You may have
Absolutely.
to go really deep. And how far you have to go, it adds to the price.
That adds to the price, as well as regulations. Sometimes if you're in a certain groundwater district, it can affect the price greatly. And sometimes getting across the street from that can save you thousands of dollars.
How is the water quality of Central Texas?
Compared to the national standard, we have fairly low water quality generally. But there are places where the water is really, really good. We have right here in Austin, we have the Edwards Aquifer, which is a great abundant source of water. It's very, very clean water. We have other aquifers around that are in places are really good, and there's places where it's pretty salty.
Yeah.
So it's pretty important to know that before you drill.
What do you mean salty underground?
Absolutely.
Explain. People may not be aware of that. What do you mean? I mean, you see the salt limestone kind of stuff?
So the water will absorb the minerals that it travels through. And so if it travels through a soft limestone, it'll absorb a lot of that. We call that hardness. If it travels through salts, it will absorb those salts. And those salts tend to stay in the water until you pull them out in some way. And usually that's reverse osmosis, and that gets very expensive. It
can, absolutely. And you talk about that hardness. It can destroy your appliances,
right?
Add wear and tear, of course, and just not good.
While you can treat any water, it's better to find fresh water that doesn't need as much treatment so that you don't have to spend as much money on the treatment side.
Talk about the process. So they got some property. They reach out to Bee Caves Drilling. They need water for their home or their business. What's the process and the timeline? The
main process is that we assign a project manager to each customer. And that project manager will meet with the customer and evaluate what their needs are, whether they're building a single-family home, maybe they're putting in a subdivision, maybe they just need irrigation water. Whatever it is, that project manager will meet with them, take a look at the property. They will educate the customer about the aquifer options that they have, and they will design a water system that the customer can choose to approve or to deny. And we do all that for free. We don't charge anything for any of those services. And then if the customer chooses to go ahead and proceed with drilling the well, we will help them get the permits. The project manager will stay as the project manager all the way through the process, all the way to the end result, making sure that the customer is happy at the end with water flowing out of the ground and flowing into the pipes.
In the timeline for completion, I mean, it could vary a little bit, but just give us an idea.
Yeah, the residential well typically is a week at the most. For large commercial wells, they can run 3 to 4 months, depending on how big they are. And our waiting list can get big, especially during the busier months, which is summer and fall. We can run 6 to 9 month waiting lists sometimes before we can start a project.
You have incredible reputation. I've seen the reviews. People have said things like they have the same approach for little projects to big projects. It's the same professional approach.
Well, that's good. We pride ourselves on doing the best job that we know how to do.
Where's the best water in Central Texas? You don't have to drill as much. Where is the hot real estate property that people may want to buy if they're thinking about water?
Well, right now, the Edwards Aquifer is always a great choice for water. We have that in South Austin. We have it in Central Austin. We have it in North and Northeast Austin. That's the Edwards Aquifer is really great. Williamson County generally has very, very good water quality, very good water abundance, very little regulation. If I were looking for investment property, I would strongly consider Williamson County, but not the whole county. Certainly call us to check in about the availability of water before you sign.
What's the difference when it comes to bee caves drilling? What are the difference between residential and commercial? I mean, the obvious things, but is there anything different in the process on your end?
There is quite a bit of difference in the difference, depending upon whether or not that property is going to be, that well is going to be servicing like a public water system, like a subdivision. The Texas Commission on Environmental Quality regulates that quite heavily. While residential wells are regulated somewhat, they're a lot easier on the construction. The standards for public supply water are much higher and generally cost double or triple the cost of a residential well.
Texas is primarily a property rights state. We pride ourselves on that. Does that help in the process when it comes to permitting and things like that? I would think that other places have many more restrictions than we do.
Texas is great about the property rights. The thing that is challenging those property rights is what's called a groundwater district. So in South Austin, we have the Barton Springs Edwards Aquifer District, and we have several of those around. In fact, about 90% of the area that I service does have some sort of a groundwater district that regulates wells. And
your years of experience have taught you how to work through that the right way.
We work through those. We have relationships with those peoples that run those groups, and most of them are very common sense rules. They're just trying to prevent waste and trying to prevent pollution of the aquifers.
Bee caves drilling, you do more than just drilling that well and bringing water to a property. You maintain and service the equipment as well?
That's right. We have a big fleet of vehicles and crews that are great at maintaining the systems that we build and maintaining systems that other people build.
The water softener side of it as well, or is that something else?
We don't do water treatment.
Okay.
That's not our business.
Okay. So, but I mean, that would be something that some folks need down the line as well.
Yes,
Absolutely.
That's something we can refer you to some qualified people in your area.
Right.
But we have our hands full with just keeping the water flowing.
Yeah. Did you started this company in 1980?
I did not. I'm not old enough for that.
Okay.
My father-in-law started the company back in 1980, and I was going to the University of Texas studying electrical engineering.
Yep.
And I met his daughter.
Oh man.
And I dropped out because I did not enjoy school, and I jumped right into the business. And
sounds like it worked out.
I've been there 32 years, and we've got one grandkid so far.
There you go. That's awesome. That is great. What a great story. It's Bee Caves Drilling, and the website at
beecavedrilling.com.
beecavedrilling.com. Jim, thank you.
Thank you.